One evening in 1945, a farmer out in Colorado went to fetch himself some supper, grabbed a young rooster, carried him to the chopping block, and swung the axe, same as he'd done 100 times before. Clean swing, took the head clean off. Nothing unusual about that. Only this rooster got up, shook himself off, and went right back to pecking at the dirt, like he hadn't heard the news. 18 months later, that bird was famous in every state in the Union, had himself a manager and his picture in Life magazine. And friend, he still didn't have a head. Pull up a chair. Let's set the record straight. Now, the feller with the axe was named Lloyd Olsen, farmer, out by a little town called Fruita, Colorado. Dry mesa country way out west, September of 1945. The war's just ended, times are still lean, and supper is still supper. So Lloyd goes out to do what a farmer does and picks himself a young rooster. Mike, they'd end up calling him, but he didn't have a name yet. Right then, he was just Tuesday's dinner. Now here's a thing folks skip clean over, and it's the whole hinge of the story. Lloyd's mother-in-law was coming to supper, and that woman had a particular fondness for the neck, loved the neck meat. So Lloyd, being a wise man who'd like to keep the peace in his own house, aimed his axe a good bit high to leave her plenty of neck to work with. And wouldn't you know it, that one considerate inch is the entire reason there's a story to tell. Aim a hair lower, there is no Mike. There's just Tuesday's dinner and a quiet week. One of the great marvels in American history, friend, and it happens 'cause a man did not want to hear it from his wife's mother. So Lloyd swings high, takes the head, and figures that's that. Except the bird will not quit. Struts around the yard, tries to peck, tries to preen, near as a bird can preen without a head to do it with. Lloyd, not rightly knowing what a man's supposed to do with a chicken that won't die, sets him in an apple crate on the porch and figures he'll be gone by morning. Come morning, there he is, standing up, waiting on breakfast. Now, here's where folks get it twisted. People hear this and figure it's a hoax or a haint or the good Lord showing off. It ain't one of the three. It's just plain biology, and it's a marvel once you sit with it. See, a chicken don't keep much brain up front behind the eyes like you'd figure. Most of what runs the machine, the breathing, the heartbeat, the standing up straight, that all sits low and to the back, down at the base of things. And Lloyd's high swing left just enough of that base still hooked up, plus the one ear. A blood clot sealed the wound before he could bleed out. So Mike lost the part that sees and hears and crows, and kept the part that keeps a body running. He wasn't a ghost, friend. He was a chicken with just exactly enough left over to go on being a chicken. Course, a bird with no head can't feed himself. So twice a day, every day, Lloyd fed him by hand, dripped grain and milk and a little water straight down the pipe with an eyedropper. And when Mike got to gurgling, Lloyd'd clear his throat out with a little syringe. Now, you remember that syringe, friend. We are going to come back to it. Word gets around, and naturally not a soul believes it. So Lloyd hauls him up to the University of Utah, to Salt Lake, and lets the men of science have a good look. And the men of science look him over, and they poke and they measure, and they say, "Yep, sure enough, headless chicken, alive as you please." which is about all a scientist can say when a thing that cannot happen is standing on his desk pecking at his paperwork. Well now, a headless chicken that lives is what they call in the show business an opportunity. Along comes a promoter, fella by the name of Hope Wade, and him and Lloyd take Mike out on the road. Rename him Miracle Mike. Get him into Life magazine, get him into Time, and they start charging folks 2 bits, a quarter, to file past and lay eyes on the Wonder Bird. And file past they did. New York, Atlantic City, San Diego, Long Beach. They insured that chicken for $10,000, and at his best, Mike was pulling in near $4,500 a month. Now, I want you to sit in that a second. In 1946, there were grown men, 2 eyes, 2 ears, a full head of everything the good Lord issues, working themselves gray, who did not clear in a year what that headless rooster cleared in a month. Lloyd bought himself a brand new truck, best supper the man never ate. So it goes, month after month. The tour, the crate, the eyedropper, twice a day, regular as the sun comes up. A year and a half of it. Then one night in March of 1947, the Olsens are traveling back through Phoenix, Arizona, and they stop at a motel to get some sleep. And in the dead middle of the night, Mike starts to choke. Same as he'd done 100 times. A little gurgle, needs his throat cleared. Nothing Lloyd hadn't handled twice a day for 18 straight months. So Lloyd reaches for the syringe, and the syringe ain't there. They'd left it back at the show, the town before. One small thing, in the wrong city. And there was not a blessed thing on this earth those two could do but sit with him in the dark. And Miracle Mike, who had outlived his own head by a year and a half, passed in a rented room a long, long way from Fruita. Now, it's an easy story to laugh at, and you ought to. It's a funny one, and it earned every laugh it gets. But sit with it a second, because the thing that gets me, it ain't the head, it's the thread. That whole improbable life hung on the thinnest thread you ever saw. A man aims his axe an inch high 'cause his wife's mother favors the neck. A clot seals a wound at just the right minute. One little ear, one bit of the brain stem, left hooked up by pure blind accident. Every last thing had to break exactly right, and it did. And then it went the other way. The same kind of thread that gave him that year and a half, one small thing in the right pocket on the right night, is the thread that finally ran out. A syringe left in the last town. And that right there is the part worth keeping. Not the miracle, the upkeep. Any wonder you ever laid eyes on in this life, friend, somebody was getting up twice a day to feed it with an eyedropper. And it lasted exactly as long as the Karen did, not 1 day more. The head was never the miracle. The miracle was a plain man who kept showing up. And the night the little thing got left behind, so did the wonder. And that's how it really went. Good neighbors come back. So go on and subscribe, and I'll save you a chair.